Welcome to Ask Lynn, everyone. And just a quick programming announcement. My podcast is actually going to get better or worse. I hope it's going to get better because I'm now staring at Adobe Audition. And the reason why I downloaded that is because part of my journalism degree requires Adobe Audition. Yes, I'm in a podcasting class for the first time in my life, and for the first time in my life, I'm actually editing podcasts and editing homework in Adobe Audition. So be on the lookout for better sounding podcasting as compared to me being in a class with Apple headphones and not editing. So enough about Adobe Audition. I'm going to let Margaret, some good in the take it away. And welcome, Margaret. And please explain more about what you do and how you start your podcast.
Well, Lynn, thanks so much for having me on. And quick about me is my day job is I work in the obstacle course racing industry. So if anybody is listening and they say, I don't know what that is, maybe you've heard of a Spartan race or a Tough Mudder or one of those sort of mud run type events. Well, I actually work in that industry full time. I've been a professional athlete. I've been a coach. And more recently, these days, I work kind of on the backside of the industry as a consultant, a media personality, an editor of a website, and do media work for a couple of different companies and industry expert and whatnot. But Dirt in Your Skirt really kicked it all off for me. I started Dirt in Your Skirt in 2011 as my own personal blog. Along the way, I started to say, like, isn't it more fun to profile more people than just myself and make it more than about me? And in 2016, I'm a podcast junkie. I'd wanted to do a podcast for years and let fear and I don't know what else sort of stop me. And I put all that aside and just decided to do a podcast. So I've been going for almost 2 years now and have almost 100 episodes that are released as of when we're recording this.
So, okay, now I have a curiosity question. Long ago, I am a competitor, I was and am a Kona Ironman triathlete. I was lucky enough to do the Kona Ironman. And so my question for you is, when people are doing the Kona Ironman and they're going around those obstacles, are you the one that set those up? Is that your job?
So I don't really set up the obstacles. I work mostly in the media base of everything. So at an event, I'm the one running around with a camera, whether normally my cell phone, doing Facebook Live. But I have been known to move around some barriers and to hand some power tools to people that are building it if I'm there before the race, helping out at all. But no, I'm not the auto builder. I work more on the media side and just write about the industry.
You have the easier job than the auto builders. And so, okay, well, I want to ask you this, and you'll appreciate this one. I was in a boat and being pulled by my teammate doing the Kona Ironman, and I held the secret that I want to be on the media side of the Kona Ironman. I still do. And so that's why I'm going back to journalism school. So that being said, what has been your favorite interview you have done in your day job? And then I'm going to ask you the same question about your podcast.
Sure. I would say the most fun interview that I've done is hard to say one person, but I think that the most exciting interviews that I've gotten to do is when an athlete, I can think of one. It's about 2 years ago now. This athlete named Connor Hancock crossed the finish line third at the obstacle course racing world championship. And he's a great athlete, but had no idea that he would be finishing so well in the race. And he was in such awe when I interviewed him that it's always fun to get to see an athlete the moment they cross the finish line and they've done way better than they ever could have imagined. Like it's hard to describe that emotion that you see in people, but it's fun to get to do interviews like that. So I'd say the interviews like that have been really, really fun to do. And
yes. And let me tell you, behind the scenes of the Konai Man, getting interviewed by getting featured on NBC was one of the highlights of my life. They actually still do it now. NBC every single October does the Konai Man, film with the Konai Man and film with the competitors.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I love I like your story and so many stories of all the different athletes, what it takes to even get there. As much as it's fun to cover all the pros and everything, it's really interesting to hear some of the stories of your everyday athlete that whether able-bodied, they have a disability or whatnot, but just hearing their stories of how they got to Kona or other events. It's just neat to hear them. It's neat to hear the mom that gets up at 4 a.m. and trains before her kids are awake so she can have breakfast still on the table for them every day. And I don't know, all those stories that they're just ordinary people that show that, with hard work and dedication you can, achieve your goals.
Yeah, and unfortunately, due to Ironman rules, we did not finish the race, unfortunately, and I want to do it again. Yes, I said I want to do it again. After my journalism degree, I am going to try and do it again in a totally different situation, and yeah, I'm going to try and do Kona again, because you guys have said to me over the years now that I should do Kona again, and it would have to be in a totally different situation than I was in, and yeah, I mean, I loved it, but because of the situation I was in by my teammates, I thought that I would never do it again. But now, looking back on it, I think I'm going to do it again after I get my journalism degree.
Awesome. I think, and now you have a lot more knowledge going into the gun at water, so you know the things to do and the things not to do.
Oh, yeah, the things not to do. Yeah, exactly, Melissa. The things to do. Okay, Melissa comes right out and says that, and don't be put in a fight where you can't pedal because I have use of my leg. See, that's the problem. I was put in a fight on the Kona Ironman biking that I couldn't control. My teammate had to control, and then, yeah, that caused a major problem. Yeah. So again, I want to ask you that question again, but this time for your podcast. What has been the favorite interview that you have done on your podcast?
I think my favorite interview I've done on my podcast probably has been when I got to interview Memo. He's just a remarkable person, has the energy of, his energy is unlike anything else I've ever spoken to before. And the neat part is he's taking a lot of ancient technique. There's nothing new, but he's using the power of the mind, cold water immersion and breathing to honestly help people not necessarily cure diseases or ailments they have, but start to take control of their body and their minds in different ways than they thought possible. So, and he's at 20-something world records, so it's pretty amazing. The guy,
I think I heard you only on another podcast a long time ago, not yours, but if I can do a plug for your podcast, my favorite episode was the one about giving the body with the singer-songwriter who gives her music to the world and doesn't get paid for it, and does a Airbnb style of having other people over, and then she, of course, made music or finds a way to play music for the problem. And I thought that was fascinating. Another episode that I heard about during this good athlete was with Hall of Fame podcaster Elsie Escobar, who does the Feed podcast for living. And so that's how I heard about Jordan This Good, and that's how I heard about you.
Yeah, both of those were really fun podcasts, and the podcast with Emily Potter, who's in the gift economy, who you just mentioned, it's really interesting, and a lot of people ask me, how do I find the people on the podcast? But I actually met her. My husband walks dogs for a living. Here we live in Salt Lake City, Utah. So the woman he worked for is friends with Emily, and she happened to be at the Christmas holiday party that they had this year, and we sat down and we chatted, and within about 15 minutes of the conversation, I said, hey, do you want to be on my podcast? And then we recorded
Oh boy.
About a month later. So, that's what I love about being able to do my podcast is that I think everybody has a story. I've had more guests on the podcast that tell me they're really boring and they have nothing to talk about and there's nothing unique about them. And at the end of 45 minutes of recording, they realize like, oh, I actually do some interesting things or I have an interesting perspective. So it's kind of nice to bring people on and actually have them realize that they've got a unique story even if they don't think they do.
I understand where you're coming from. I've had that too when I say, okay, you don't have to be on my podcast, but I want to bring out the unique you. Yeah.
Definitely. And I think that's sort of, I know you're going to journalism school, so I feel like that's part of what makes a good journalist, whether it's in the written form, the video form. If I need an extraordinary
head. You hit the nail right on the head. Exactly. See, this is why I do the podcast, to bring out the stories of the unique people. And this is why I'm going back to journalism school, so I can get the training behind me.
Definitely. Well, it sounds like you've got a great foundation here. So I think that it's all wonderful.
Well, thank you. And what would be your biggest success? And then I'm going to ask you, what is your biggest failure?
Sure, yeah. I think my biggest success is, when I quit my job back in 2012, I was head of admissions and college placement for a private boarding school. I was on a really good track on paper, but I wasn't really all that happy in what I was doing. And in fact, it wasn't even really all that healthy in a lot of ways because I was working so hard. I was having mental and physical breakdown a couple times a year. But what I think, so really just deciding and having the courage to just leave something that on paper looks so good and branching out and going kind of into the unknown. What I do now, the job didn't even really exist in 2012. Some of the companies didn't exist. And I think that... I work in the new media space now. So it's like when I started, now I do Facebook Lives all the time at events and cover events like that. Well, when I started, Facebook Live didn't even exist. So I'm constantly growing and changing as the technology changes around me, which, is really fun and exciting in some ways and really uncertain in other ways. So, I've been fortunate to be in a position where I've been able to kind of explore all those alternatives. And so I think that's one of my greatest successes is that I've just decided that day to quit my job and, now here I am years later, kind of have, cultivated a whole different career and, kind of don't necessarily know where it's going to go, but take it day by day.
And take it day by day. And admin in education and teachers don't get paid very high. I know that because I'm a teacher. I'm not an admin, but I know that you're getting a higher paycheck now, and I'm having mental and physical breakdown twice a year because